So I want to know where you're joining from. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Success with SASS show. We are super excited to have you. Okay, well, let's see if I can get this. All right, there we go. So today's episode, I really am excited because what we're going to be doing today is going to be talking about standing out. And standing out is one of the most important things when you're working in business because there are so many trends. Hi, Jane. So many trends and things that become just where you think you're standing out, but basically you are keeping up with how to stand out. So what we're really going to talk about is how to stand out in your brand today. And first of all, Lamar, Paul, Beth, Alan, thank you all for joining. Hi, Taylor. Where is everybody coming from? Because I know the beauty is that it's a Wednesday afternoon and would love to know where everybody's at. Beth, are you on the East Coast right now? Are you enjoying the New York wine scene? Let me know where you guys are all tuning in from. Awesome. San Francisco. Awesome. Los Angeles. New York. Chicago. Okay. Who else is coming in? Anybody else coming in from California? And or anybody from the East Coast right now? And I'm curious to know what the weather is like on the East Coast. Right now, we are in the in-between stages where we're having the cold wine country nights, but it's really beautiful right now in the summer. So what we are going to jump in today, so anybody out there have a business or running a business or really wanting to communicate better about the business that they're operating or owning, because one of the things that I really want to do is focus if I can. This show is about success with SASS. When I talk about SASS to me is that you have something to say, that there's a sense of being successful, alive, and sexy smart when you're running your business or running your brand, because so often we just get inside of our own heads as entrepreneurs and we think we have to do it all. We get exhausted. We're distraught. We think we have to keep up with all the trends, and it's overwhelming. So one of the things I would love to know is how this show can truly help you. If you're in a manager position or an owner position, what is it that you need to make sure that you're running your business and enjoying the life that you want and you're not getting exhausted and overwhelmed? So these are going to be tips that every week is going to come to you live, but I really am looking forward to what we can do to unlock your success, because what I found as an entrepreneur is that I was definitely chasing success and I had it, but I was exhausted and I was overwhelmed. And as many of you saw last week, I kind of shared behind the scenes of what had happened to me. So what I really want for people to be successful is to have the life that they want to. To be sassy means to stand up, feel alive, soulful, sexy, smart with the decisions you're making at your business. Because let's be honest, you spend more hours every day at your business than you do with your family or your loved ones. That's just a fact. So let's make your life and your business full of sass and class. Like, I want you to have quality success that is sustainable and scalable. So, hi, Christy. Hi, Pablo. I miss you, Pablo. We need to catch up another lunch soon, too. So if we can dig in here, one of the things that I'm really wanting to know is, has anybody had kind of this feeling that they need to stand out more because of the way trends are happening and the way that social media is changing and evolving? What are some of the struggles or things that people feel like they need to be doing or that they have done and haven't had success with, maybe feeling like they need to stand out or be really heard? Some people, okay, SEO. Yep, SEO is a big one. That's really working with website. If somebody's not familiar, SEO, somebody else. Okay, Instagram. Instagram is interesting. Instagram is interesting because what you can do is you can definitely post, you can build an audience, and they are changing and doing beta things, but Instagram, you cannot post a link in. You cannot post a link in a post and it goes directly to a page. So I can understand the frustrated feeling when you're working with Instagram. What Instagram is really for building your audience and giving a story. Any other questions as far as, or things and frustrations that people have felt with how they're working with their business to stand out? Okay, well, let me tell you that one of the things that I really, really, really want to encourage is that you absolutely stay in tune and aware of the ways that you can stand out and the way that your brand or your business is going to be there. But here's the deal. When you only focus on trends, then you're only focusing on how you're going to catch up. So before you can ever focus on a trend, you need to know something. You need to know who you are and what your voice and your vision is, because when you truly want to stand out, it means that you can't just say, okay, I'm going to run my business and here I am, and the next step is looking at the industry that I'm going to be in and follow everybody else. We are in times where saturation is real. Everybody, every marketplace, there is a lot of saturation. So how are you going to stand out? Don't just compare. Don't just look at somebody else and think that you need to be doing what they're doing. Find an inspiration that's truly your voice. Now, one of the things that I say is be the purple cow. And if you're not familiar with Seth Godin, he really talks about that. He talks about you can be a cow, but can you really focus on being something different, like a purple cow? So if you're driving along the road and you see cow, 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 purple cow, you may not stop and look at all the other cows, but you are definitely going to stop and look at the purple cow. And what that means is that there's something that stands out about you, not just the trends you're using, about who you truly are, what voice and vision you have for yourself. Now, one of the ways that I really work with people is figuring out if you're a disruptor or you're a quality person, or are you an innovator, a visionary? Those three things are a great way to really figure out what your voice is. Because if somebody is a disruptor, that means they're going to go into the industry and they're going to say, you know what, it's always been done this way. I'm going to do something completely different. Let me give you an example. Maybe you are in the wine industry, and the wine industry and the food and beverage industry typically is very, very monochromatic in how they really brand themselves or what people are looking for. But what if you brought in a different element? What if you brought in hip hop? What if you brought in something different where you started looking at things, okay, you know what, maybe it's a wine industry, but I really want to reach a whole new level of education in wine. Maybe you want to do something that's the other thing that is really what I talk about is being a visionary. So maybe you have something that isn't in existence. So you need to look at it backwards. How is your vision going to best work backwards, and how are you going to target the different markets that need to know about what your vision is? So either you are in an industry and you need to really focus on what your own purple cow vision is. Who are you? Who are you going to stand out? Are you going to bust out hip hop when you're talking about wine? Or are you going to say, you know what, I'm something so different that doesn't exist. I'm going to go back into the vision. My little visionary back here wants to be part of the show. Everybody say hi to Roman. I think he's having a hard time. This is one of the last days of summer, so he's soaking up summer right now. Yes, this is the vision. This is the vision of being a mompreneur, of at home, standing out and working on business with the lifestyle of being a mom as well during the summer. So one of the things I would love to ask you guys is, does anybody know right now what the average attention span is for people? Hi, Roman. A couple of people are saying hi to you, Roman. Say hi, Jill. This is a really important question. Does anybody know what the average attention span is right now? Okay, somebody put 3 minutes, 2 minutes. It's actually even less. Anybody else want to take a guess? 1 minute. Do you know it's even less? Okay, anybody else want to guess what the average attention span is today in today's society? It's actually, yeah, Jill, 20 seconds. It's actually less than 20 seconds. Scary, right? So when attention spans used to be measured, it used to be for every year you were old, that was a minute of attention span that you would have. So if you were 20 years old, you could have the attention span of sitting down for 20 minutes, really focusing on something. Now, with all of the technology and things that are going on today, it's completely different. They said, this is really disturbing. It was last year, they said it was 9 seconds. 9 seconds. 9 seconds. That's pretty disturbing because that's the same as a goldfish. And then recently Microsoft came out and said it was 6 seconds. So everything is focusing down. So how are you going to stand out when you only have 6 seconds to talk to somebody or to attract them to your brand or who you are? Well, let me explain something to you. The most important way that you can stand out is by being different. Different is better than being better. Thank you, emoji. Different is where you are going to see the distinguishing factor. If you're just better than everybody else, that doesn't necessarily make you somebody who's going to stand out and fascinate with you. So another way that I really want you to stand out as a brand and have complete success is understanding what is your communication? What is the language that you're communicating your brand or yourself to the world in? Sally Hogshead talks about it as the 7 languages of fascination. If this is foundational, this is actually the first thing I do with every single client is find what their advantage is. And I'll give you a couple of examples so you truly understand this. So let's say that you are Volvo. Volvo speaks the language of trust and loyalty. Loyalty means that you truly know that when you're buying a Volvo, you know how reliable they are, and it's an important thing for you. So when you're a brand and you want to stand out, you are going to absolutely fascinate the person that wants loyalty. You know that that's the language you speak. And just like anything, if you're traveling around the world and you are going and you're maybe somewhere, like you're going to Italy or you're going to Hawaii. Hi, Laura. Speaking of Hawaii, you might want to know some of the languages. You might want to know some of the dialects, or if you really want to communicate and you really want to have a connection, you are going to stand out and really understand what's going on if you speak the language, if you know how to communicate. Your experience is going to be so much more meaningful. And the reverse is true. So if you're traveling somewhere and somebody speaks the language that you speak, you are suddenly standing out and feeling them, and you want to be close to them. Brands are the same. If you consider every single brand is like a country that's communicating something. But the communication span being less than 9 seconds, you need to know very quickly what language you speak and how you're going to speak it to stand out. So if it's loyalty and trust, then you really want to make sure that you are communicating loyalty and trust. If it's details and alert, meaning that you want to make sure that people, when they work with you, that you're handling all the details, all the alert-driven things. So let me give you an example of how that would work. FedEx. FedEx is very detail-oriented. So FedEx is really about, let me give you the details. Let me make sure that you have all of the alerts you need, that you know something is delivered. Does this make sense? Are you guys following this? So far, 2 of the things that we've gone over is how one of the languages to stand out is knowing, you're going to speak the other language, one of them being trust or loyalty, the other one being alerts or details. Now, the other one is prestige. Prestige is one that's quality, complete quality. So when you talk about quality, it means that you are being the best of the best. And if you really distinguish yourself as the best of the best, then you are going to attract that type of customer. You are going to truly attract a person that wants to speak that language or knows that language, and you are going to be able to stand out to them. So it's not all about social media. It's about what are you going to do with it? What language are you going to do with it? Listen, social media is incredibly important, and I would love to bring on people and social media experts. I have a couple really special guests lined up that can help educate you on social media and what has to happen and how to really make your brand shine online. As my good friend Claudia Miro does, she does an incredible job with her Shine Online company. It's amazing. So I'm going to bring her on the show to really give you true tips about how you can take online platforms and branding. But what I want to do is say, before you even get there, in order for you to stand out, you need to be the purple cow, which means you need to know what are you going after. You need to know exactly the dialect. You need to know what language are you speaking. Is it passion? Is it detail? Is it prestige? Is it trust? Or it can be the language of innovation. Innovation is an incredible language. I can give you an incredible example of innovation. Think about Tesla. Tesla is the language of innovation. Right? So when somebody goes and buys a Tesla, they're speaking the language of innovation. They know that they're getting something different. And it's also prestige, right? It's something of high quality. So this is really about not being so trendy, but how are you going to stand out? Because when we're talking about our businesses, we have an opportunity to really connect in a way that's meaningful to our customers. And if you followed in and tuned in last week, we talked a lot about connection. A customer connects when they know what your business really is about. Because right now, if you only have 9 seconds or even less than 9 seconds to connect with somebody, then how are you going to do that if you don't know what you stand for? one of my favorite quotes in Hamilton is when Aaron Burr and Alexander Hamilton are talking, and Alexander Hamilton says, "Burr, if we don't know what you stand for, we don't know what you fall for." And when society is so quick right now to be focusing on so many things at once, if you can't tell me in less than 9 seconds why I should follow you, buy from you, or connect with you, then you're not going to have my attention. You're not going to stand out. Do you have anything to say on this, Roman? No. Fascination. He just wants to be fascinated with the camera. So what I really want to impress upon you is not that there's an urgency with just focusing social media. Social media is going to constantly be the method that you get your message out. But if your message doesn't have the clear defining aspects as far as what language are you speaking, what are your advantages, then it really doesn't matter what platform you're using. Because let me give you a little side bit about what I know about the science of fascination. Science of fascination is something that I took a long time to study. I was mentored and I took the whole course with Sally Hogshead, who created the science of fascination. Rowan, would you hold this so you'd be useful? Thank you. How to fascinate. So really about making your brand irresistible is incredibly important. And standing out means that you aren't just doing what everybody else is doing, but you stand for what you want to do, what you are, and how you are different. So the languages, if you're just joining, hi Alanita, hi Claude. If you're just joining, then we're going to talk really briefly about the 7 languages. I gave a couple examples. I'll come back. And I want questions too, because this is about a show where I want you guys to ask me questions. How do you feel like you're either just wanting to stand out more? Are you struggling with getting heard? Do you feel like you have a specific situation that you want to know? Then let's dive into that. So the science of fascination is what I truly work with all of my brands and all the business strategies. And the first 7 that you will always work with me is that you definitely have the language of trust, which we talked about. You have the language of passion, which is in this emotional connection, which I speak the language of passion. My Italian spicy side, I always want to connect with people, right? You have the language of prestige, which is quality. You have the language of power, which is authority. You have the language of innovation, which is standing out. You have the language of, yes?
How about you just write this on a piece of paper too?
How about I just write on a piece of paper? You want to give me a piece of paper and I'll write it? Okay. So we have trust, innovation, passion, prestige, power, alert. We talked about details and alert when it comes to things like FedEx. And then we have mystique. Mystique is interesting. Mystique is really about being quiet and listening and not so much about being out there. And mystique is actually a place that when I worked through the science of fascination, mystique is where I definitely have my dormant area, meaning that's the zone that I'm not so great at when it comes to the brands I work with. I really work really well with innovation, work incredibly well with prestige and passion. That's why I tend to work with luxury brands. So we're gonna write this down. How about you draw me a picture and I can show everybody? No? Okay. So when you work on standing out, you wanna work on knowing which of these 7 languages that you speak. And as Roman astutely says, we should just write it down, Mommy. You know, Roman, I think that's a really good idea. You know, I might even have it written down, Roman. Would that be kind of cool? Sure. Let's see. So when you do stand out, when you do find yourself and you find what languages you speak, it's really, really powerful because then you get to know your archetype. You get to know what language you are and you get to know what language your brand is. And I love this. This is my favorite tool I get to work with when I do all of my business strategies. And it's such a valuable tool. And I am the connoisseur. So let me just give you, I'll show you what it looks like. So when you do the fascination assessment, this is what you get. You get kind of an insight to, okay, here I am. This is the connoisseur. You can see that I speak prestige and passion. So that's the language of quality and passion. And you get to see how the world sees you. Right? So how I really stand out is really focusing on my passion and the prestige. This is super valuable because the other thing that I discovered, this is kind of the scary part. Let me show you the analytics, right? So this is how it works. You have all the 7 areas will list out and you're going to see, great, So I know what I'm incredibly passionate and prestige and power at, but look at this low area. That's mystique. It's also alert and details. So I know when I'm working on my own personal brand or when I'm working with businesses, I know the side that I can stand out in. I know what really matters to me. And I also know that if I want to be my highest and best self when I'm in a brand or when I'm working with businesses, the way that you're going to be your best self and stand out is if you understand yourself to a place that you also know that when you know you, the world will know you. This tool is a great way for you to just kind of step into that. And if anybody, has anybody ever taken the DISC profile or the Myers-Briggs test? Because that would be a great way for us to kind of have a conversation. Hi, Tim. Hi, Jefferson. Oftentimes people will take the DISC profile and they'll say, okay, I'm a high D, I'm a high I. Or they'll take a Myers-Briggs and they'll find out the letters that they are, which is an EMTJ or something of that nature. And although that's incredibly important, it sometimes is hard to know when you're working with a brand, how does that help you? And when I'm working with businesses and we begin working and diving in to make them stand out, it's important for me to feel like we need to not only know who you are as a person, but we need to know what your brand stands for. Because when you want to be really working with the right type of client, a high-paying client, that means that you need to know what message you're sending. And now you might be your own business, you might be just your own personal brand. So how is your personal brand representing you? Or you might be a person who owns a business that's maybe you're really good at alert and details, but your business is innovation. Then you want to be very clear when you are putting together your messaging or your marketing that your message and your marketing isn't alert and details, but is innovation. Does this make sense? The branding, the focus, the message needs to match the vision of what you have. That language, the vision you have for your brand has to match. It doesn't necessarily always match with the founder, but it is incredibly important that it matches to what the customer needs. Here, let me say something. This is one of my favorite quotes when we're working with Business Master. He said, your job is to fall in love with your customer, not your brand. That happens so often where we fall in love with ourselves and what we're offering in our brand. We think it's so great that we forget that it's not just about us or what our offer is. It's really about how we are going to connect with somebody, because the purpose of your business, when we talked last week, is connection. So definitely want to connect to yourself. Thanks, Lamar. I love it too. That's why I use it all the time. But if you're only connecting with yourself, in the end, you're a one-sided relationship. That's basically like having a business selfie, right? So taking a picture and just saying, I love myself, this is where I am, this is what our business is doing, that's great. But if you want to stand out and you want to make a meaningful connection and you want a business with SASS, meaning that you are successful, alive, and soulful, and smart, all of that means that you as a business owner have to stand out. Bring that SASS out. Have something to stand for, but make sure that you do it in a way that connects to your customer. So I really want to know, has anybody ever taken the Science of Fascination test? Have they taken an assessment? Have they seen where they are as an archetype? Because what is really powerful is when you do see not only where you are as a business owner, but where you definitely want to be. Because if the world sees you, let me give you, for instance, if the world sees you and you take the assessment and the world sees you as being this very innovative, very passionate brand, and you're trying to brand something that's based on trust, loyalty, and alert, there's going to be a disconnect. So one of my favorite things is really to make sure that there is the connection, because when you stand out, you will make a difference if you know who you are and you know what you're standing there for. So now this is the time we're going to be, the next couple minutes are for any questions. So I would love to know, Lamar, we had kind of a discussion online about finding the connection with customers. Is there anything else as far as just really branding and what you feel like you want to know how to stand out in the business area, whether it's online or in the store? This is really a great opportunity to know what we can do to stand out in today's society. It's so important to make a difference with your clients right now. So many people are recognizing the inauthenticity that's in today's marketing is huge. So my whole point of why I'm doing what I'm doing, why I have the show, why I have online courses, is because I can't stand anything that's inauthentic. I want you as a business owner or an entrepreneur to be authentic and radiate and stand out. I want to help ignite that, clarify that, bring that message out, let you have incredible success. I love the clients that have had so much success when we work together because they're more of themselves. Their business is a representation of what it is they really want to be and what they really want to do. So you can absolutely stand out whether you're a chef, a winemaker, you sell wine, you do anything that you do well, even luxury goods, if you know who you are and you know how to stand out. So the signs of fascination, again, I will break down you know what? Here, I'm going to use the back of because I'm not going to write it down, even though Roman said to write it down. So here's the languages again: innovation. We have innovation. We have power. We have passion, power, prestige, trust, mystique, and alert. It's really hard to read backwards. I've never done that before. These seven languages will really help you. Now you can either get the book. It's a pretty deep read. She has a couple books. If you have questions, ping me. I also will post, there's a way that you can get just a really brief overview. I have a complimentary link for anybody who's tuned in. You guys can get a complimentary assessment. If you want to book a full strategy session and kind of understand how this works and how it works for your branding, I love it. This is one of my favorite pieces I do, so I'm happy to do that as well. And I also have some exciting news. Two very, very important pieces of news right now. My website has gone live. So I'm going to post right now the official website that Shine Online, my beautiful Claudia, has put together. This has been an amazing process. Talk about how to make a brand stand out. Claudia has put so much heart and soul into this and really, really done a ton of work. And so right now what I have on there is 7 secrets to attract amazing high-paying clients. This is really what I did when I worked in the marketplace and when I work with different customers. These are 7 tips that I always train on. I've trained all my salespeople on this. This is if you can tag anybody that you think is going to benefit from the 7 tips or the show, please tag, please get involved in this community. We will be here every Wednesday together. So the more business owners that can come together and help support success, the more meaningful the work will be so people can truly have a difference. There is so much blessing in owning your own business, but there's also a lot of work and a lot of stress. And so I want to make sure that the success that I give you and I teach you is so that you can enjoy the life that you love, even when you're at home with your little ones. And being able to enjoy your, some people call this the hump day. This is my hustle day. This is the day that I'm in the middle of the week. This is where I know the game has begun and I have to just go even harder for the rest of the week. And I love it. I love having a life that I enjoy because in the end,
the game you should drink some water.
It's the game I should drink some water. In the end, that's what we're all here to do. Thanks, Roman. And as a passion and prestige-driven person and entrepreneur, being in business for 15 years, it's very important to me that I really passionately help you.
Stay on business.
So let me know how I can help you. Let me know what I can do. This is the last day of summer, so I appreciate you guys tuning in and seeing how my assistants, my little assistant, my virtual assistant here, we're all in this together, okay? This is Success with SASS. I want you to have a business and a life that stands for something. You have something to say it. Tag anybody you think will absolutely benefit from the amazing secrets that are going to be listed on my website, that you can download that now, this show as well. If you guys have questions, send them ahead of time. because I am going to be scheduling. I have the next couple weeks scheduled with guests. If there are people that you think would even enjoy being a guest, they have something to say that can help other business owners, please, please, please. Yeah, that's right, Lamar. Wednesday Hustle Shuffle. I love it. So we can do this. We can build businesses and lives that are worth living. And I absolutely believe in the hustle. I absolutely believe in all the hard work. But here's the deal. I also believe in living a life that's worth living. That's why it's called SASS, is I have something to say. I live a life that's worth living, and I want to help any entrepreneur or business owner to have the same. So we are obviously hitting our place where I think my assistant is telling me the time is up for the show. Again, tag people, share the show. There is going to be also my next exciting news. So the 5 free spots for my online course of SaaS and Business Breakthrough have been filled. It broke my heart when I had to turn away the 6th person. It literally just tore me up because I only had 5 spots that I could do with our platform that were complimentary for the promotion. So I was able to work with a team. I have this week is going to be 10 spots that I am going to be able to do for less than half for the online show. So if you think any women in business that you think would really, really benefit from either knowing what kind of business they want to run, or they're exhausted, they're stressed out, they're not getting the profits that they really feel like they should be getting, they're not getting their return. This is the course for them. I no longer will put up for a business that runs your life and takes your life force. I have found the way to teach women business secrets that have never been taught to me. So stay tuned for that exciting news. The show is going to be every Wednesday. Tune in next week. Send me any quotes, information, or people that you really want to see on the show. Tag them. Thank you, Lamar, and I'm excited to continue building a life and business with SASS. Bye, you guys.